John Neely Kennedy was asked to sing at a talent show as a joke, but his performance won him a spot. Lily Thompson hunched low in her auditorium seat, her hoodie drawn tight around her face, like a shield against the world, her heart pounding with the kind of dread that only a middle schooler could feel when their social survival was on the line. The Baton Rouge Middle School buzzed with restless energy whispers and giggles swirling through the crowd as Principal Guidry's voice echoed through the microphone, introducing the final speaker for Career Day. Please, welcome United States Senator John Neely Kennedy. The room erupted in a chaotic mix of murmurs and phone camera clicks as her uncle strode onto the stage, his unmistakable southern drawl and tortoiseshell glasses marking him as both a political giant and an eccentric uncle. For most kids, a famous relative would be a ticket to instant popularity, but for 12-year-old Lily, it was a curse. Her classmates already teased her mercilessly for being the senator's niece, mimicking his folksy quips like as useless as a screen door on a submarine in exaggerated twangs that made her cringe. Today she was certain would seal her fate as the school's laughingstock. "Dude, your uncle's here," hissed Caleb, her only friend, nudging her with a grin. "Why didn't you tell us? I didn't know." Lily muttered, her voice lost in the auditorium's din, and it was true. Her mom had vaguely mentioned Uncle John might stop by their Baton Rouge home during a campaign visit, perhaps for a quick supper, but Career Day was a complete shock. On stage, Kennedy looked less like a Washington power player and more like a quirky relative in his rumpled suit and pelican-patterned tie, exuding Louisiana charm. He shook Principal Guidry's hand and took the mic with a lopsided grin. "Y'all, thanks for having me," he said, his voice warm and slow, like a lazy bayou current. "Heard my niece goes to school here, so I thought I'd drop by and talk about life and law." Every head turned toward Lily, her face burning as she sank deeper into her seat, tugging her hoodie strings. For 20 minutes, Kennedy captivated the crowd, weaving stories of his journey from a Zachary lawyer to a U.S. senator, his humor landing with laughs and nods. He fielded questions about Capitol Hill and his favorite Cajun dish, crawfish étouffée, drawing chuckles with his wit. But Lily's stomach knotted, dreading the attention his presence drew to her. Then, Principal Guidry pointed to a raised hand in the back, and Lily's heart sank. It was Derek LeBlanc, the 8th-grade bully, who thrived on making her life miserable. Derek stood smirking, his soccer jersey stretched tight. "Senator Kennedy," he said, voice dripping with mockery, "you're great at speeches, but what are you bad at? Could you handle something normal, like our talent show next week?" Snickers spread like wildfire. Principal Guidry reached for the mic, but Kennedy waved her off, his eyes glinting with amusement. "Good question, son. I'm bad at plenty cooking anything beyond gumbo dancing without tripping, and I can't make heads or tails of TikTok." The kids laughed, but Derek pressed on. "So you're not good at regular people stuff. Bet you wouldn't last 5 minutes in our talent show." The auditorium fell silent, the air heavy with anticipation. Lily wanted to disappear, mortified that her uncle was being challenged by a kid. Kennedy studied Derek, then grinned a sly, mischievous smile. "Tell me about this talent show," he said. Principal Guidry, flustered, explained, "It's our spring showcase. Students perform and the winner gets an arts scholarship." Kennedy nodded. "And you think I'd flop?" Derek's grin widened. "No offense, sir, but politicians ain't stage stars. It'd be embarrassing." Gasps echoed. Students stared at Lily, who braced for disaster. But Kennedy's grin grew. "You know, son, stepping out of your comfort zone's what makes life fun. Challenge accepted. I'll perform." The room exploded in cheers, phones flashing as kids leapt up. Principal Guidry looked stunned. Lily felt her world collapse. As chaos reigned, Kennedy sauntered off stage, pausing by her row. "Surprise, darlin'," he whispered, winking. "See ya at supper." Derek shouted, "Better practice, Senator shows Friday." The bell rang, but instead of rushing to buses, kids swarmed Lily with questions. "Is he serious? What's his talent?" She pushed through, desperate to escape. Near the exit, Derek grabbed her shoulder. "Your uncle's cool for taking my dare," he said, his smile sharp. "But my cousin's bringing a WBRZ news crew. Shame if he flops on camera, huh?" Lily pulled away. "He won't flop." Derek laughed. "What's he gonna do? Read laws?" "You don't know him," she snapped, her voice shaky but defiant. Caleb dragged her to the bus where he gushed, "Your uncle's awesome! What's he gonna do?" "No clue," Lily admitted, her fear mounting. At home, Kennedy's pickup was in the driveway. Inside, he sat with her mom, sipping sweet tea. "There's my niece," he said cheerfully. "Ready for my talent show debut?" Her mom laughed. "John, those kids'll eat you alive." "That's the fun," he replied. Lily couldn't hold back. "It's not fun. It's a disaster." Her mom frowned. "What's wrong, honey? Derek set this up to make Uncle John fail," Lily said. "It'll ruin my life." Kennedy's face softened. "You worried I'll embarrass you." Lily looked down. "Derek's mean, and there's a news crew." Her mom hesitated. "John, maybe rethink this." Kennedy stood, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder. "Lily folks assume they know what others can do. Derek thinks he's got me figured. He's wrong." "But what'll you do?" Lily asked. "It's in 3 days." Kennedy smiled. "That's for me to know. But you won't be ashamed. Trust me." Lily wanted to believe him, but doubt lingered. That night, unable to sleep, she crept downstairs and saw light under the guest room door. She knocked. "Come in," Kennedy called. He sat on the bed, papers scattered. "Can't sleep?" "No," she said. "I'm scared about the talent show." "Sit," he said. "I think you should back out. Say you've got a Senate vote." "Lie?" he asked, eyebrow raised. "Not lie, just Derek wants you to fail." So what, he said calmly. "Folks laughed when I ran for Senate, said I couldn't win. If I'd feared looking foolish, I wouldn't be here." "But this is different," Lily argued. Kennedy pulled out an old photo, a boy with a banjo beside an elderly woman. "I wasn't always good at things," he said. "We start somewhere." "What's that photo?" Lily asked. He tucked it away. "A story for later." 3 days is enough. Silence fell, his confidence clashing with her fear. "Let me tell you something," he said. "As a kid, I loved something others mocked. My mama said fear of looking foolish is just fear of opinions. I kept at it, and it mattered later. I'm doing this to show you courage is being scared, but acting anyway. I need your help." "Help what?" Lily asked. "Practice," he said. "You know what kids like." Lily hesitated, then nodded. "Fine, but don't blame me if Derek posts this online." Kennedy laughed. "Deal. Sleep now. We start tomorrow." At breakfast, her mom asked, "What's the plan, John?" They said, "Surprise." At school, the talent show buzz was electric, rumors of a bigger venue swirling. Derek taunted her, but a new girl, Min, said, "Ignore him. Talent shows up unexpectedly." That night, Lily heard banjo strums from the guest room, her uncle's voice soulful. Could he pull it off? If you love this story of courage and surprises, please support our channel with a donation. Every dollar helps us share more tales that inspire and connect. Visit the link in our bio to contribute. Let's keep these stories alive. With only 2 days until the talent show, Baton Rouge was ablaze with anticipation, the kind that turned a small school event into a citywide spectacle. The performance had been relocated to the community center, a cavernous venue typically reserved for Zydeco concerts and town fairs, after ticket demands skyrocketed, fueled by whispers of Senator John Neely Kennedy's daring acceptance of a middle schooler's challenge. Social media buzzed with hashtags like Senator Sings and Kennedy Talent, and local news vans prowled the school's perimeter, eager for a scoop. For 12-year-old Lily Thompson, however, the growing frenzy had only tightened the knot of dread in her stomach. Her uncle's secret banjo skills, glimpsed in a stolen moment the previous night, were impressive, but could they withstand the scrutiny of 1,000 eyes? A news crew and the merciless judgment of her peers, led by the vindictive Derek LeBlanc. At home, Lily found Uncle John in the guest room, now a makeshift rehearsal space, its door adorned with a scrawled sign, "Practice in progress. Trespassers beware." She knocked hesitantly, her palms clammy. "Come in, darlin'," Kennedy called, his voice warm but focused. Inside he stood, with his banjo surrounded by crumpled sheet music and a laptop looping a Cajun fiddle track. The room smelled faintly of sweet tea and old wood, the banjo's polished surface catching the lamplight. "Ready to help your old uncle make history?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with a mix of mischief and determination. Lily shifted uncomfortably, her sneakers scuffing the floor. "Help with what exactly? You sounded good last night, but what if it's not enough?" Kennedy set the banjo down and leaned against the dresser, his rumpled suit jacket slung over a chair. "Fair question. I need an audience to tell me what lands and what don't. Plus, you know your school's crowd better than I do." He strummed a few bright notes, launching into Jolie Blonde, his voice gravelly yet soulful, weaving a tale of love and loss on the bayou. Lily's jaw dropped again, the music stirring something deep within her, but doubt lingered. "It's amazing, Uncle John, but the kids might not get Cajun music. It's different." Kennedy chuckled, unfazed. "Music ain't about fitting in. It's about feeling. But I could use some polish." "You in?" Before Lily could answer, her phone buzzed with a text from Caleb. "They're setting up lights at the community center." "This is huge." Her stomach churned. The stakes were climbing higher than she'd imagined. She nodded reluctantly. "I'm in." At school, the talent show dominated every conversation, transforming the hallways into a gauntlet of questions and stares. Teachers stopped Lily to ask about her uncle's plans, and rumors swirled that local celebrities might attend. During lunch, Caleb slid his tray next to hers, eyes wide. "They're expecting 1,000 people. What's your uncle gonna do?" Lily poked at her pizza, avoiding his gaze. "It's a surprise." Derek's voice cut in sharp and mocking. "Surprise more like a train wreck. My cousin says WBRZ is betting on a flop." He leaned across the table, smirking. "What's he gonna do, strum a banjo like some swamp grandpa?" Lily's cheeks burned, but before she could retort, a quiet voice interrupted. "Leave her alone, Derek." It was Min, a new student Lily had met the day before, her violin case slung over her shoulder. Min's dark eyes were calm but firm, her presence steady despite her small frame. Derek scoffed. "What's it to you, new girl?" Min didn't flinch. "Bullies like you just talk big to hide how small you feel. Lily's uncle's got more guts than you ever will." The cafeteria went quiet, heads turning. Derek's smirk faltered, but he recovered, storming off with a muttered, "Whatever." Lily stared at Min, stunned. "Thanks, but why'd you do that?" Min shrugged, adjusting her glasses. "My dad's a musician. He says talent's worth defending. Is it true your uncle's playing banjo?" Lily hesitated, bound by her promise to Kennedy, But Min's sincerity disarmed her. Maybe. But it's a secret. Min nodded, a small smile breaking through. My dad plays Zydeco. I know Cajun music. If you need help, I'm around. That afternoon, Lily brought Min to her house, her nerves jangling as they approached the guest room. She knocked, and Kennedy opened the door, eyeing the newcomer curiously. Uncle John, this is Min. Lily said. She knows music. Her dad's in a Zydeco band. Min clutched her laptop bag, her usual confidence tempered by awe. It's an honor, Senator Kennedy. Lily said you might need help with a performance. Kennedy studied her, then stepped back. Call me John. And yeah, I could use a hand, but this stays hush-hush till the show. Deal? Min nodded solemnly. Deal. Inside, Kennedy explained his plan, 2 songs, the Cajun classic Jolie Blonde, and an original piece he'd written as a teenager, both backed by his banjo. He played a verse, but mid-song a string snapped with a sharp twang, halting the music. Dang it, Kennedy muttered, inspecting the banjo. These strings are older than my first campaign. Min stepped forward, peering at the instrument. I can fix it. My dad taught me how to re-string. She worked deftly, her fingers nimble as she replaced the broken string and tuned the banjo with practiced ease. Kennedy watched, impressed. You're a natural, Min. What else you got up your sleeve? Min opened her laptop, pulling up music software. I can adjust your backing track. The fiddle's too loud in the chorus, drowning out your voice. I could balance it. Kennedy nodded. Let's hear it. As Min tweaked the track, Kennedy shared a story with Lily, his voice softening. When I was your age, I was shy as a possum in daylight. My neighbor Miss Clara saw it and gave me a banjo. Said music helped me find my voice. She taught me Cajun songs, the kind that tell stories of our people love lost the bayou. It changed me. He pulled out the worn photo Lily had seen before, a young John beside Miss Clara, both smiling after a performance. She told me my music'd lift folks up someday. I stopped playing when I went to law school, but her words stuck. Lily traced the photo's edges, a mix of pride and worry swelling in her chest. Why show it now? Kennedy's eyes grew distant. Sometimes you gotta reclaim what you've buried. This shows my chance. Min looked up from her laptop. My dad says Cajun music's like a heartbeat. It connects everyone who hears it. But you need to stand taller when you play, let your voice carry. Kennedy tried it, his next verse richer, more resonant. Your daddy's a wise man, he said. Min's smile was bittersweet. He's on tour a lot. Since we moved here, I don't see him much. Kennedy's expression softened. Sounds like you're carrying his music with you, though. By evening, Min had perfected the backing track, its fiddle now complementing Kennedy's voice. Lily suggested stage movements to match the banjo's rhythm, drawing on her memories of school plays. Kennedy practiced tirelessly, but as they wrapped up, he admitted something surprising. I'm nervous, y'all. Senate debates are one thing, but this, it's personal. Lily was stunned. You, nervous, Kennedy shrugged his calloused fingers, tracing the banjo's strings. Ain't no shame in it. Courage is feeling the fear and playing anyway. The next day, Derek's taunts escalated, his voice ringing through the school courtyard. Your uncle's gonna play some hillbilly tune. My cousin's crew'll love filming that flop. Lily's fists clenched, but Min's calm voice steadied her. He's just jealous. Your uncle's got soul. That afternoon, Kennedy struggled with a verse, his fingers fumbling. Min coached his breathing while Lily arranged props, a stool, and a lantern to evoke a bayou vibe. As they rehearsed, Lily felt a shift. Her uncle wasn't just a senator. He was a man rediscovering a piece of himself, and she was part of it. But as the session ended, a new worry crept in. Would the audience see what she saw, Or would Derek's prediction come true? The community center in Baton Rouge was a pulsing hive of excitement, its vast hall packed to the rafters with a crowd that spilled into the aisles, their chatter a low roar under the glow of stage lights. Folding chairs lined the walls to accommodate the overflow, a mix of parents, students, local politicians, and curious townsfolk, drawn by the improbable spectacle of Senator John Neely Kennedy performing in a middle school talent show. News cameras from WBRZ and a national outlet stood poised at the back, their red lights blinking like eager eyes, while hashtags like #SenatorSings trended across social media. Backstage, 12-year-old Lily Thompson paced a narrow hallway, her sneakers squeaking against the polished floor, her stomach a knot of nerves. Uncle John had texted that he was minutes away, delayed by an urgent Senate call about a budget vote. But the show was set to start in 10 minutes, and Principal Guidry's anxious glances weren't helping. "He'll be here, right?" Guidry asked, her voice tight. "We can't hold the show forever." Lily nodded, her throat dry. "He'll make it." Min, the new girl who'd become her ally, and Uncle John's music consultant, touched her arm, her violin case slung over her shoulder. "He's got this," Min whispered, her calm certainty a lifeline. Just then, the stage door creaked open and Kennedy slipped in, his suit slightly rumpled, but his banjo case in hand, his face weary yet resolute. "Sorry for the drama, y'all," he said, his drawl steady despite the rush. "Ready to stir up some bayou magic." Lily exhaled, relief flooding her. "You're here. That's what matters." Guidry, practically vibrating with excitement, ushered them to a small dressing room. "Mr. Kennedy, you're our grand finale. We'll need you in an hour. Anything you need. Just a quiet spot to tune up," Kennedy replied, polite but distracted. As Guidry hurried off, Lily, Min, and Kennedy slipped into the dressing room, the door muffling the crowd's hum. Min set her laptop on a table, checking the backing track one last time. "How's your voice?" she asked, eyeing Kennedy's thermos of sweet tea, laced with a throat-soothing remedy her father had suggested. "Holding up," Kennedy said, taking a sip, though his fingers betrayed a slight tremor as he adjusted his banjo strings. "Not my best, but it'll do." Lily frowned, noticing the fatigue in his eyes. "Are you nervous?" she asked, surprised. Kennedy let out a short laugh, sinking into a chair. "Course I'm nervous, darlin'. Ain't you nervous before a big test?" "Yeah, but You," Lily said, gesturing vaguely. "You talk to presidents and stuff." "And none of that makes me immune to stage fright," he admitted, pulling the worn photo of himself with Miss Clara from his pocket. He studied it, his expression softening. "This ain't like a Senate speech. It's personal." Min approached her curiosity gentle. "That picture, you look at it before every practice. Who's she?" Kennedy hesitated, then handed it over. Lily leaned in, seeing the young John, maybe 13, grinning, beside an elderly woman with kind eyes, both holding instruments on a makeshift stage. "That's Miss Clara," Kennedy said softly. "My music teacher in Zachary." She saw a scared kid and gave him a banjo, said it'd help him speak his heart. She was right. "You learned from her?" Lily asked, pieces clicking into place. Kennedy nodded. "From 10 to 14, till I got too busy with school. Then life took over, law, politics. But I never forgot her." He tapped the photo. "She said my music'd lift folks up someday. I'm hoping tonight's a start." The show began, student acts filling the stage dances, a clarinet solo, a comedy skit that drew polite laughs. The crowd was warm but restless, clearly waiting for the main event. Backstage, Kennedy warmed up, strumming quietly, his eyes distant. Lily watched, a mix of pride and fear swirling in her chest. "You don't have to do this," she said suddenly. "No one'd blame you if you backed out." Kennedy looked at her, surprised. "Would you be disappointed if I did?" Lily paused, realizing with a jolt that she would be. A week ago, she'd dreaded this moment. Now she wanted to see him shine. "Yeah," she admitted, "but it's your call." Kennedy smiled, a real one, not his Senate grin. "Then I'm doing it for Miss Clara, for me and for you." A stagehand knocked. "5 minutes, Senator." Min gave Kennedy's arm a quick squeeze. "Stand tall, breathe deep, focus on the back wall if the crowd's too much." She slipped out to find her seat, leaving Lily and Kennedy alone. "Your friend's something special," Kennedy said. Lily nodded. "Yeah, she is." The stagehand called again. "You're up." Kennedy took a deep breath, tucked the photo away, and squared his shoulders. "Here goes nothing." As they walked to the stage, Lily spotted her mom in the front row, saving her a seat. Derek sat a few rows back, his smirk visible even in the dim light. Principal Guidry stepped to the mic. "And now our special guest, Senator John Neely Kennedy." The crowd roared a wave of applause, crashing over the hall. Kennedy gave Lily a quick wink and stepped into the spotlight, his banjo gleaming. He looked smaller, somehow more human than the larger-than-life figure on TV. For a heartbeat, Lily feared his nerves would win, but then he strummed a single clear note, and the room fell silent. The opening chords of Jambalaya rang out lively and raw, Kennedy's voice weaving through the Cajun melody with a soulful grit that carried the bayou's spirit. The crowd leaned forward, caught by the unfamiliar rhythm and his unguarded emotion. Lily, now in her seat beside Min, felt her heart race. Derek's smirk faded, replaced by stunned silence. The song ended to a moment of hush, then thunderous applause. Kennedy spoke, his voice quiet but clear. "This next one's mine, written when I was a boy, dreamin' of makin' a difference." His original song, Bayou Dreams, unfolded with simple chords and lyrics of resilience and hope. Its chorus soaring, "Keep your heart open, let the river flow." Tears glistened in the audience, Min's hand finding Lily's squeezing tight. As the final note faded, the crowd leapt to their feet, cheering wildly, a standing ovation that shook the rafters. Kennedy bowed humbly, his smile vulnerable, and caught Lily's eye, a silent question in his gaze. She clapped until her hands stung, nodding fiercely, pride overwhelming her fear. Backstage chaos reigned as students and staff crowded the wings. Lily and Min pushed through, finding Kennedy in the dressing room banjo case, open photo in hand. "You were incredible," Lily burst out. Min added, "Your breathing was perfect. My dad would have loved it." Kennedy tucked the photo away. "Miss Clara'd be proud. Music's meant to be shared." Guidry burst in. "They're begging for an encore." Kennedy glanced at Lily, who nodded. "One more," he said, heading back out. The next morning, Kennedy's performance was a viral sensation, headlines proclaiming Senator's banjo stuns Louisiana and Kennedy's hidden talent. At breakfast, Lily's phone buzzed with texts, even from Derek. "Your uncle's legit." "Sorry." Kennedy sipped coffee unfazed. Fame's a flash in the pan. But last night mattered. He revealed a scholarship in Miss Clara's name, with Min as the first recipient, covering music lessons and college funds. Min's eyes welled up. Later, he shared plans for the Clara Thibodeau Music Foundation, funding rural music programs. "Miss Clara told me to lift folks up," he said. "This is how." He invited Lily and Min to be youth ambassadors, traveling to share music. Weeks later, in a Cajun town, Lily stood with Min Kennedy and Miss Clara's family, celebrating the foundation's launch. Local kids played Zydeco, their music a living legacy. Lily realized the talent show wasn't just about Uncle John's banjo, it was about keeping a promise that changed lives, proving one daring act could ripple far beyond the stage. If this story of courage and connection moved you, please consider donating to our channel. Your support fuels more tales that inspire and unite. Click the link in our bio to help us keep sharing the magic of music and human spirit.